Democrats, Republicans, independent, first-time voters, and there are a lot of those first-time voters, folks, who are so desperately in need of change. Can you imagine having Hillary Clinton for 4 years? Can you imagine? Hillary Clinton's only allegiance is to herself, her donors, and her special interests. My only special interest is to you. Believe me, is to you. That's why I'm doing this.
A clear choice in this election. A choice between division or unity. Between an economy that works for everyone or only those at the top. Between strong, steady leadership or a loose cannon who could put everything at risk. So make no mistakes, our core values are being tested in this election. We know enough about my opponent. We know who he is. The real question for us is what kind of country we want to be and what kind of future we want to build for our children.
See, when it's out, it's going to be permanently there for you.
Now you can say that again, and many just can't wait to get to the other side of the election. Now we're talking about when a winner emerges and see if the the sound bites will be any different. Don't forget that Trump had also said something about the media's involvement and the media being biased, as well as his rejection possibly when and if he does lose. And he's also seen every possibility of coasting to victory. And for Hillary, she's also likely to say something quite differently. It all depends on where the pendulum swings. But as we did say earlier on, we have our correspondents in some parts of the United States. They'll be letting us on what exactly is happening. But again, some other things to look out for is the electoral votes. We just have to keep talking about them. And pretty much later we'll be having the experts right here in the studios to dwell more on the electoral vote and see some similarities that we can get from the United States presidential election and that of the election here in Nigeria. You heard Chika did say, well, the transparency is novel with the United States election, and that is one thing he's seen that is missing in our election here in the country. And for so many, they have also come to realize how divisive this has been, and it's also an indication of what exactly is happening in the society. Now talking about the polity, the Americans. Now we should go to Wisconsin, where Sean Kimberly is joining us from. And Sean, it's a moment I know you really have been waiting for. Now you have been able to seize the moment. Tell us how this has been for you as a political reporter covering elections here in the country and some other African countries. What's the difference you've seen so far with the elections in the United States?
So much difference if you're making comparison between the Nigerian situation, electoral process, and what is obtainable here in the United States. So many differences. For example, in the United States, candidates can still campaign up this morning or even this hour. Just know that you cannot campaign close to the voting area. But in Nigeria, you know what happens? In 24 hours before election, you cannot campaign. So there's a lot of difference. You see everything goes calmly, the way and manner, the organization of the electoral process here, so much different from what is obtainable in Nigeria and in some parts of Africa. And again, what you will see is that local authorities in the United States are so much involved in the organization of election in the United States. I've been going around town to see, get people's feelings and their thoughts about the voting process, what they make of the exercise, just the waiting time. And it's pretty between 5 minutes and 10 minutes. You wait on the line, and afterwards you get to vote. And within 5-10 minutes, people are getting back to work. It's not a public holiday. You know, in Nigeria, if you are going to have an election today, it will be a public holiday. But today is Tuesday, and every American has gone back to their work. It looks strange, but that's the reality here in America. Sulaiman, let me give you an understanding of what happens here. I caught up with Mr. Folaojo, who is here with me. He's an American of Nigerian descent. Please come. He will be sharing his thoughts with us on the program today. Many thanks, Mr. Folaojo, for talking to us. He's been here for a long time. If you would tell us, you are familiar with the Nigerian system, electoral process, and the American electoral process. What would you say? What would be a major distinction between these two countries?
They're like day and night. They're like day and night. I mean, you can go around and you see where people are voting now. There's no ballot box snatching. There's no thuggery. There's no violence. Everybody just going about their business. And just like you said, people vote in and go back to work. That's how it works in America.
It's interesting. It's not a public holiday, just like I said earlier. And so a lot of people will be wondering, how is it not going to be a public holiday? We do not even have elections during the week. It looks so strange. And again, people will say, local authorities, elected officials also are involved in organization. Are you not afraid that those who are organizing the election are going to sort of influence the process?
You see, human beings all over the world are the same thing. But the process here is that there are representatives of every party present at the polling booth. So if anybody is trying to play any kind of game, they're there. But usually the fundamentals of this kind of political process in America is so beautiful, it's so admirable. I mean, so you can never compare what happens in Nigeria to what's going on here.
Oh, okay, again, one will wonder, we've seen the conversation between the two major candidates, Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump. A lot of people will think that is unprecedented. It is absolutely animated. Some of the things that we've seen.
Allow me to come in here, Seun. I think I need a moment, and I'll return to you and Folaojo on this. Let's just take a moment and we'll return shortly.